Welcome, everybody, to another exciting episode of HomeKit Insider. You've got me, your host as always, Andrew O'Hara, and joining me once more to round out the year, it is Dan Turk. How you doing, man?
Thanks for having me again. Ooh, I feel like I rounded out the year last year maybe as well. I don't remember. It was towards the end of the year, but I'm excited to do it once again. This could become a new tradition.
I know. You still need your jacket with your emblem on there for how many times that you've hosted, which I've now lost track of. So
I've officially lost track, but maybe we can do like cops have like the stripes or whatever.
You're just going to get bars down your arm for every time you host.
Like the military men. Yeah, or military. Yeah, we should do that.
Well, this is going to be an exciting episode. We are going to talk a little bit about CES. We're going to look back this year at the most popular episodes of HomeKit Insider. We are going to cover our favorite products of the year. And to be honest, we're probably going to have a bit of a long discussion on iRobot and what happened with that whole situation. So let's go ahead. Let's start off with the news. Get those little things out of the way. Dolby has announced that in partnership with LG, they have launched the first Flex Connect system soundbar system there. If anyone does not remember the Flex Connect from Dolby, that is their new wireless protocol system that allows you to put the speakers anywhere in your room and they're automatically going to calibrate their position for Dolby Atmos. The LG system has a whole bunch of different speakers that you can add, including the main sound bar, then wireless rears and verticals, all that kind of stuff. Place them anywhere in the room. It's going to automatically calibrate. But it is the first one to launch with Flex Connect, which is very cool. I'm excited for this. I'm huge, into Sonos, and I think they work amazing and they have their tuning system. But to have something that's kind of a standard that can apply to other sound systems to make them better is only going to be a good thing. So this looks pretty cool to me. I'm glad we're seeing our first one. I wonder if we'll see more at CES, but this is the first one being announced.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Dolby's just such a great company because they fit into so many different, categories under consumer tech, from audio to the Dolby Vision as well. A ton of projectors now have that type of quality. I'm wondering how this also plays together with their Vision line too. So if you have Vision and audio all together, creating this really incredible immersive experience, it's just going to be a plus for consumers. So this is pretty cool to see.
Yeah, and compared to just standard HDR or HDR10, those specs were so lenient. They're putting HDR10 on literally every single thing, including these low cost budget monitors with terrible brightness. And this spec literally means nothing. And then there's Dolby Vision, which is nah, you got to hit some pretty high bars to make this happen. So even though LG is good, I have no qualms with LG, but I would not have sought them out when I'm thinking sound bars. But now with being one of the first to work with Dolby on this, it's got me tilting my head okay, maybe Dolby or maybe LG has stepped up their game in a big way here. So I'm kind of excited. I wish there was a way to try one of those out somewhere around here, but I have no idea of anyone who needs a current new setup.
I can only think of one person that might want that. No, maybe you'll be able to try it at CES. I bet you LG will be there demoing this as well as Dolby. They always have great showcases. And like you said, maybe there will be some other brands there. So even though you have nothing against LG, maybe your brand of choice will be working with Dolby in a way as well.
It's true. Well, next up in the news, I'm trying to find the list of all the things that they support. But Samsung, as I mentioned before on the show, Samsung is the first one to fully support Matter 1.5 with SmartThings. So that means cameras and all of that. And there's a whole list of things that they are supporting that I'm trying to find on the actual PR list. Okay, they're going to support live streaming, clip storage, two-way talk, motion detection, advanced camera settings, event history, and motion and privacy zones. So those are all coming to SmartThings with the 1.5 Matter update. That's awesome. I like how quick they are to this, and as I'm sure you're happy to hear, they name dropped Eve as one of the camera companies that they are working with on new new Matter cameras, including Aqara and SmartThings as well. And so far, SmartThings is the only one that has an actual product like announced and official. Everyone else, Eve, Aqara, both are like, we're working on them and they will come eventually. But
yeah, it wasn't just the name
excited.
drop. They also, they date dropped. They said March 2026, so that gets me really excited too. That we're not talking about a camera in the future. We're talking about a camera in Q1. So that could be pretty exciting. And I don't know, we all expected some more Apple Home, smart home type news from Apple this year that never really came, which leads me to believe just so much more is coming in 2026, all bundled up together. So we're starting early, fresh CES. Then we get March 2026 with all this, and then who knows what's to come from there.
Man, we're gonna have February to breathe, and then maybe
the shortest month of the year to breathe. Yeah, it's great.
So I was working on a piece of, so Macworld had that iOS 26 leak from like the pre-release device, and they had like a huge number of things, and I'm looking through and it's like, why is everything spring? How is everything spring? Like, not just Apple's smart home stuff that is supposed to be, in March with like the actual like home hub display situation, but Apple TV and HomePod and AirTag are all supposed to be spring. The new MacBook Pros, the budget MacBook Air or MacBook is supposed to be spring. Like, everything is supposed to be spring. The new iPhone 17e is supposed to launch in the spring. Spring is not that long. How this is going to be, I'm worried about the beginning of next year and the workload that we're going to have.
Yeah. Wait till you see what's coming from consumer robotics in spring as well.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be wild. The whole first half of next year is going to be crazy. I don't think you're going to breathe in February. I think it's misplaced hope, Andrew. You'll see pretty soon. February is not for breathing.
We have been talking so long about when to try to revamp the studio, and I keep trying to find like the downtime that I can maybe get a few videos filmed and then take some time to work on it. I'm fretting that there is not such thing as a downtime anymore. Like, it just seems to keep hitting.
Maybe you could have 2 hours in February.
Oh, that would be nice. I don't know, 2 hours. Okay. I was been looking at my sleep scores recently, and it's like, you broke 50. I'm like, oh, look at me. I'm an adult.
50 what?
I broke 50 on
minutes?
No, 50 out of 100 for the sleep score on the Apple Watch.
Oh, got it.
Yeah, I was hitting like a 48. I'm like, this is out of 50, right? Somebody tell me it's only out of 50. It's not. Let's talk about the most popular episodes this year. I did not tell these to you ahead of time, but I'm sure this will not surprise you in any way. So first, obviously, one of the biggest ones was the Apple event recap. So even though we're smart home focused over here, still was a very popular episode, maybe the top 5 for the year.
Does your audience like Apple?
I think a little. There's a couple Apple. Yeah, I think it shows there's like 2 iPhone users that download, but one of those might be me. So me and
definitely
one
the other one's me.
There.
So
okay, it's just us. No one listens to this. This is just for you and I, Dan. We're going to go download this and just listen to ourselves, and there will be no other downloads for this episode.
We just don't count it. We don't count the Androids. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay, this did surprise me a little bit. The Hue doorbell episode actually got big numbers. So apparently everyone was interested in the Hue video doorbell. So I did not give that probably enough coverage. Like, I never reviewed that, mainly because of the lack of Apple Home support. But that episode, headlined by the Hue doorbell leaking, that pulled some numbers. This is a little sad. The episode I did in January of last year was one of the biggest ones, and it was all about the Apple TV rumors that we expected for the Apple TV to launch in the spring of this year. So that was one of the most popular episodes, and now I feel like people are over it because we've talked about it for far too long.
Oh, man. That is really disappointing. We wanted it so badly. You think they know that? They're like, we can probably afford to push this one out a bit because the interest is there. We saw the HomeKit Insider podcast got a lot of attention.
Dude, I honestly, it's one of the things I hear about most. Like, I get so many comments on Twitter and videos about Apple TV. Every video I do on Apple TV just like pops off. Like, people are excited for Apple TV, like more so than I kind of would think, just because it feels like a niche device. And yet, no, there's like a lot of interest around this thing.
There's real world implications. Like, my kids, they just go to town on the Apple TV remote with like crusty hands and stickiness and all that, and it's just it doesn't pay to get a new remote. They're so expensive compared to what you can actually buy the whole package for. So I keep telling them, like, that remote's got to last you. You know, Apple TV around the corner. We're almost there, but it's got to last you until the next one comes out. And it just keeps getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it.
I see it. So we had Apple event recap, Hue doorbell episode, Apple TV news, and subsequently the Home OS overview that I did. So this was when we like first heard about Home OS being its own platform, breaking it out from audio on HomePod and TV OS, and then much of the rumored features that we had heard about at that time, specifically on the software side of things. So that episode pulled some huge numbers. So those were the top 4, and then the last one in the top 5, which is our perfect transition to our next quick topic, was the CES episode. The CES episode, right following CES, covering all the stuff that had launched or announced for the year, that was also in the top 5. So that is what you guys were interested in last year. CES, Apple TV, Home OS, doorbells, and Apple events. Not too surprising, honestly, but some good topics in there.
I wonder what was talked about in the CES episode that is not out quite yet. I would like to go back and think about that a little bit more.
Right, the things that were... Okay, I'll tell you the one, Aliro. The number, I'm pretty sure, like, X things announced, like, their, Ultra Lock with UWB and all that coming, like, with Aliro and HomeKey, and that never, shipped yet. Hopefully we'll get actual, like, updates on Aliro at CES, but... right now, that still has not, shipped, but that's probably the biggest one. Everything else seemed more reasonable. Like, there was no kind of like moonshot devices. Like, everything seemed a little more tame. A lot of stuff launched early in the year. Yeah.
I think there was like that tariff interruption, and so whatever didn't make the cut before that kind of got delayed in some way, shape, or form. And now we're starting to make up for it. And maybe that's why spring is going to be so heavy in 26.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, let's talk a little bit about CES. Like, we're not going to dwell on it because I'm going to have at least 2 episodes covering CES, because we're going to have, like, the next episode after this is going to be, like, the Monday before CES, which technically takes place after Unveiled, where the first things are shown off. So we're going to have like a smattering of PR from some companies that I can talk about on that episode. And then we're going to have like PepCom, Showstoppers, and all of CES, where a whole bunch of other devices are going to be announced. And there will be an episode, after CES, the week after, that'll round up all of that stuff. So like 2 CES episodes coming. But Dan, any predictions, any stuff that you want to see, hope to see, how you feeling about it this year?
Want, hope, all very different, expected to see, all very different categories there. And I think we're going to see AI everywhere again. I think AI glasses will be a big one. There's been a few brands that have done it pretty well, and we're probably going to see a lot of brands doing that now. The fast follows and little differences here and there between all of them, but all ultimately pretty similar. That's pretty much it. I think we'll see a lot of AI in each category, like specifically designed to benefit each category in a way that we haven't seen it before.
I think we're going to see more Matter stuff this year. We've had multiple new spec releases, including 1.5. So I do believe that we are going to get camera announcements from major players. I mean, if Eve is waiting until March, maybe we'll have like smaller companies that are making announcements. that they can show off. I would be shocked if Aqara doesn't show off something, because they literally seem to show off their entire like portfolio at CES for the year. So
Yeah.
maybe they'll keep things under wraps to coincide with Eve and SmartThings. I don't know, but
I think there will for sure be Matter things discussed, but I don't know that everyone was necessarily waiting for 1.5 to drop. Like, they're also waiting for the ecosystems to get on board. And so the Samsung announcement today was interesting, as we're recording 12 days or whatever before, or 10 days before this actually drops. But I do think that brands are also waiting for the other ecosystems to catch up with the pace of Matter and their launches. So we may see some announcements with like hopeful dates in the future, but not necessarily shipping right away, if that makes sense.
True. I think everyone's kind of expecting big plays from Apple, and SmartThings has always been there, really. So I think that they're starting to catch up. It's just starting to get to the point where they kind of all the necessities are there to make the whole ecosystem. And I think the cameras were like the last major piece. Like, we had everything for the smart home but cameras, and now that we have cameras, I think that was kind of like the last major piece for Matter, like the last main category that was lacking. So, I mean, we even saw like they have the casting, and there's I already forgot the brand, but the one TV brand already announced that they were supporting casting for Matter, which was pretty cool. So like, we're getting some of these newer things. So I think we're going to start to see more filling in of all that stuff. So I mean, even some of these things that have been announced for a while that we haven't had products launch for, I think could actually start to show up. So hopefully, and I'm hopeful on Aliro that we're actually going to get, like, I think this year it's going to actually ship. So if that's being the case, I think we're going to see more announcements of that, and hopefully they actually ship this time.
All right, let's see what happens.
I guess we'll find out soon enough. We'll have, a few days, and then, yeah, we'll be out there.
Off to Vegas.
We're about to go into a new year. New year, new traditions, and guess what? New sponsors for the show. This time I'm talking about Copilot Money, which, come on, let's go continue this trend of sponsors that I already use and love before they sponsor this show. We have been using Copilot Money in our family for a couple months now, actually, for our budgeting and finances, because it works just so well, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about why right now. Now, I will say, like, I'm terrible with budgeting software. Like, I have tried a whole bunch of different ones. I used to try Mint before that got shut down, and I liked Mint quite a bit. But most of the other ones I had tried, they just never really fit me quite right until I started using Copilot Money. Now, one thing, just as an Apple user, I love is that it is one subscription that works across all the different platforms. They're like native apps for iOS, iPadOS, macOS, and they even have a new web app, which is beautiful and allows you to access it from anywhere. And this is just great because you have an amazing like native experience on no matter which device you are using, and I love that. Copilot Money is also like one of the first apps to get updated every time Apple does like new launches, which I always love. Like, those are some of my favorite apps. Like, they're so quick to support like new UI elements and new features and all of those things. Now, as far as like actually why this app is so good, it just works well. Like, there's several different tabs in the app where you can watch things like your dashboard, your transactions, goals you set up, cash flow of things going in and out of your account, and you can track so many things throughout this. I mean, they actually even have support for Apple Card, which is crazy because so few do have that because of how difficult Apple kind of makes it to play with like tracking apps. But no, they support Apple Card with Copilot Money. My favorite thing is how they use like AI to track your spending categories, and they can even track like your monthly subscriptions so you can stay ahead of those and your renewals. So you can see like when renewals are coming up, make sure you have enough money in your account, all of that. It has like cool little notifications, like it pops up and goes, oh, new reoccurring spending found, and then it'll tell you what it is, and it'll automatically categorize it for you, so you can go in to see your subscriptions and see when they all hit and see when they all come through. And the fact that they can like break down into categories without you having to do really anything is amazing. Like, honestly, there's so many things about this app that I really like, but my favorite part is just the design. Like, it works so well. It is clean, intuitive, easy to use, basically just handles so many things for me automatically. I can just jump in, see where my money's at, see how much money I have coming in, going out, where it's spending, where it's breaking down, and it helps us kind of save and just have an overall picture of our finances. My wife and I both use it, and I really, really like it. Like I said, we have been using this before they sponsored the show, and now you guys can all try it too. Like, going into the new year is the perfect time to get a handle on your finances and just start a new year outright. Like, fresh start, make your money work for you, feel calm and in control and excited about where your money is going. Don't get surprised by, reoccurring things. Like, Copilot Money is the way to make that happen. They have won so many awards, like Apple Editor's Choice has like a 4.8 star rating on the App Store with over 25,000 reviews. Like, there's a reason that I was like drawn to this app, like, to try it out, and I'm so glad I did. You guys have an even better shot of it than I do right now, because they are running a new promo to help launch the new web interface. So for a limited time, you can get 26% off your first year when you sign up at copilot.money. That is for new users only, on the web only. And you can also get 2 free months with code HomeKit. Start the new year with clarity. Your money beautifully organized, now across every device. I also want to talk about Shopify, right? It's the end of the holidays. Are we done shopping? No. It's a perfect time to go and start looking for things, because you're going to have returns. You're going to have, holiday bonuses. You're going to be still looking for things. And you think that, like, you're done. Like me and my wife, we always like, oh, finally, we don't have to spend anything else. We're all good. But no, there is more things. There's birthdays and everything else that we are getting into, starting off into a new year. And of course, Shopify is one of my favorite ways to do that, to shop securely from brands that trust, and love. Now, Shopify has all the benefits for both people shopping as well as people who are trying to start a business. 2026, you're finally going to get that new business off the ground. You're going to start selling. Like, do it. You can do it. You just have to take that first step of getting that store running. And Shopify makes it super easy. Literally, all you need is that idea, that product, that service, and you can have a website up and running within an afternoon. Just spin it up and get going. Put yourself out there with your own e-commerce store. Now, as you start to grow, you can start to add things to it, right? You start to have some finances coming in, you're getting some more sales, you want to boost things up a little bit. Cool. You can take advantage of all the things that Shopify has to offer. You have like AI tools that'll help write product descriptions and ad copy and descriptions of photos, and help you remove, backgrounds from photos, all those types of things on product images. You can add plugins to add additional functionality and sources of revenue and reducing pain points at the same time, like being able to add a plugin that'll offer insurance on packages. That way, packages are being insured. People can make sure they're getting the stuff that they want to be getting. Nothing is getting lost. It reduces your pain points of missing or stolen packages, and people are protected. Everybody's happy. You get some extra revenue from affiliate sales of package insurance. So it's just a win-win-win all around. As you grow up, you're a massive company now. Shopify can still grow with you, right? It's going to be able to have a completely custom site built just for you, down to every single line of code, all built on that Shopify platform, adding all the extra tools and tracking and plugins and whatever else you need that's going to help your business succeed in the new year. There's so many companies that are relying on Shopify worldwide, and I love to see it used so much in the tech space. Like, there are so many tech companies that start off on Shopify site, and big ones that have been around for years that are using Shopify. I know one major company that I worked with quite a bit that they made the jump to Shopify, I believe in like 2025, and it was a massive change for them and helped them in so many ways, offering coupon codes and gift cards and all these things they could not do before, that Shopify unlocked for them. Like, it is incredibly cool. Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinens, Nomad, 12 South, Moment, tech companies, startups, like everyone in between is turning to Shopify for their e-commerce needs. In 2026, stop waiting and start selling with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/HomeKit. That is all uppercase. Go to shopify.com/HomeKit. That's shopify.com/HomeKit. Hear your first this new year with Shopify by your side. Okay, here's a topic that I know that you are excited to talk about, which is iRobot. So iRobot, Massachusetts-based company, right? They basically kind of started the robotic vacuum cleaner market.
did so many cool things. I remember those early models, like my parents had one, had to do crazy things like put the landmine looking things along edges to create laser boundaries so they didn't go to different rooms. But they blew up that space, and now they're going under. They declared bankruptcy and they sold themselves to 3i, which also makes vacuum cleaners that I have reviewed. They have
So
the
they
one
sold
that I
themselves
really
to
liked.
Picea, who makes.
Oh,
3i.
sorry. Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
Yes,
But
Picea, who makes 3i.
and not makes 3i and also sells components to many other vacuum companies out of China, which I think
Yes.
these
So
are like
they're-
very interesting nuances to be aware of.
Yeah, they're like a major player in China that does like they basically make like white label vacuum cleaners, right? As well as their own. So like they were the new round of iRobot vacuums that had come out that seemingly abandoned everything that iRobot had done before. Those were all made by Picea with like
Yes.
a partnership with iRobot. And now that company just taking them over. So they're going to continue to sell their 3i line. They're also going to continue the iRobot line, the Roomba line, and continue selling vacuums and parts for everyone else. Yeah. So this was a development for sure.
It's a development. It's a sad one. I mean, it's a tragedy. If you're a smart home fan, if you're a fan of the category for floor cleaning and consumer robotics, this is absolutely a tragedy, especially for your American audience. iRobot was really the last American company standing in this space, and because you didn't mention this, but all this kind of came to a head when the Amazon acquisition was blocked by the U.S. and European governments in late 2023, right towards the end of the last president's administration. And so it's just disappointing that like there was this level of regulation that impacted a company's future so much that they have had to, file Chapter 11. And if the name of that regulation was, it was in the name of monopoly and too much market power by Amazon, not by iRobot. I want to make that very, very clear because iRobot was not the market leader in Europe by a stretch, and they were not even above 50% in the US at the time because there was already so much competition from Chinese companies and brands. But that it was in the name of not giving too much power to a brand like Amazon. And here, they've declared bankruptcy. They're being bought out and saved by Picea, a Chinese manufacturer. And now all of a sudden you're giving all of that data and information and market power to China instead of a U.S. brand. So it just from a U.S. standpoint, it doesn't make sense how this all kind of happened. And I don't know if you've been following all the drama online this week, but there's been, some of the regulators that were involved in that at the FTC have been showing up on X to defend their position, which I don't know how you could be tech forward and possibly defend that, or even just a person hopeful in the future of America and before that. So it just, all of it kind of just doesn't make sense. It's really disappointing, really sad.
Yeah, it seemed like I'm never going to be like on the side of Amazon. Like they're obviously massive, but iRobot had been struggling for a long time. Like they were they were honestly barely even on my radar for current vacuum cleaners to recommend because they were playing catch up so much lately against the massive influx of these foreign brands. And it seems like it would have been helpful for Amazon to be able to throw a bunch of money at it and spend that up, even if it ended up getting broken off in the future. But I still don't completely understand why like they're able to own routers, they're able to own doorbells, with Eero and Ring, and how many other sub brands that they have, and those are okay, but a struggling vacuum cleaner business was too much. And they had sold off all their military contracts, right? That was before the Amazon acquisition, I think,
and all that. Yeah, that was before that.
So like that wasn't even part of it. I don't know. I'm definitely not on the side of Amazon, but it just seems like that the regulation, the tariffs took down like such a good company. Like I really liked iRobot stuff, and
if it if you listen or read some of the stuff coming out from Colin Angle, the founder and former CEO of iRobot, when this was all going down, this week he was on The Verge with Jen Toohey. He was on the New York Times Hard Fork podcast earlier today. Like he's been all around talking about it, and some of the information that he shared is that yes, there were some external market pressures from the Chinese brands, but what was happening there is the Chinese government was giving a ton of funding to these brands to compete in this category, and they were blocking iRobot out of the largest market in the world, which was the Chinese market. And so there was a natural way, with an influx of money plus an influx of revenue coming to those Chinese brands, that allowed them to spend on R&D in a way that iRobot couldn't. Amazon was going to be the quote unquote Chinese government in this acquisition, right? They were going to fund that R&D that iRobot needed to compete in the future of the category. What Colin doesn't say is that the Chinese companies and their implementation of LiDAR on these robots he's adamant that was not the right move, and still is not the right move. And I don't know if you're familiar with or your audience is familiar with the debate on self-driving cars, LiDAR versus camera vision, and like AI. So it's essentially the same argument for robot vacuum cleaners. Are they better at mapping and navigating with LiDAR, or are they better at mapping and navigating with AI camera vision? Colin and iRobot always maintained that camera vision was the future. LiDAR had a limitation that you could not get past. And once you hit that limit, you're done. You have to add a camera in order to get that much more information. A lot of those companies now have added both the camera and the LiDAR to the systems. And what Picea did with this latest batch of iRobot Roombas, by the way, it's crazy that we've talked about this for 10 minutes and we have not mentioned Roomba yet, or 5 minutes or whatever. Roomba is it's like the Band-Aid, the Kleenex, the Clorox or whatever of the entire industry. And so iRobot, the makers of Roomba, their latest batch of Roombas have LiDAR and have not been doing really great there. But I think what's important is, if this was 5 years down the line, the way camera vision is now, I think Colin Angle and iRobot's team and their strategy of, let's be camera first, LiDAR second, or LiDAR not at all, would have actually been the correct approach. They were just too early. The technology wasn't there quite yet. But had the Amazon acquisition went through, the funding that was necessary and the R&D support that would have come from Amazon, I think would have got them there, and there could have been a resurgence for Roomba and iRobot like we hadn't seen in the last 5 or so years.
That could have been exciting. I mean, I feel like that still would have been a couple years away, but it would have at least given some competition. I mean, you cannot argue with how fast these Chinese brands are innovating. Like, there is some crazy stuff that they've been doing, and it's pretty insane. Like, every year to go to CES and see like a completely new thing added to.
They're good products. Like, these things work, and they work well, and they're expanding beyond floor cleaning, right? They're going outside the home. They're going into your pools. They're going onto your lawns. They're going onto your windows. They've got incredible technology, and the category is bursting at the seams. And so it's just a shame that we don't have a U.S. player really making an attempt anymore at doing great things and innovating. And the biggest part that's concerning for me is we're at this point now where humanoids and robotics and physical AI in general, right? The implementation of AI in physical hardware, that's the future of tech in the home, outside the home, in factories, all of that. And so if our own government and the European Union, the European Commission did this to iRobot and basically gift wrapped that entire category to China, who's to say that won't happen again with the physical AI category that we're about to jump into? I'm nervous, and I really do think there needs to be either some self-regulation or some governmental regulation to ensure that U.S. maintains this advantage and grows this advantage against other overseas players.
Yeah, I mean, what about Matic? Is Matic in the U.S. or is that abroad?
So now that's officially the last standing U.S. brand. I mean, they're new in that
they're new,
just
very small,
as this whole
but...
but by all measures, and I have not tried one myself. Have you?
No.
by every review that I've read from people that are very much in the know in this category, have reviewed all the robots. They're absolutely killing it. The one like key opinion leader, I would say, to use a PR term, that I don't think has done much with Matic yet is the guys over at Vacuum Wars, which they're like the who's who in what's big in robotic vacuums. So I guess I don't know why that's been happening, but they'll be at CES, so maybe I'll talk to them when that happens. But yeah, Matic they took a totally different approach. They've been using camera, that strategy, that camera only strategy is what Matic's doing, and they're absolutely crushing the game. And those are, I think they're former Google folks that started that company, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so, yeah.
And so, I guess that's our last hope for a U.S. brand in this category. And I'm excited to see how they expand, because right now their only product is the robot vacuum, and it's been the same one for the last few years. They are not taking the approach of, every 3 months launching new robot vacuums and robots like all those Chinese brands are. They're being very deliberate. They're kind of like the Tesla, I would say, of the country right now in this category, in that they're able to update their vacuum in a way that's different than others. So I don't know. That's I'm speaking a lot here because I'm very passionate about this one, but that's one to look out for, audience. Check out Matic if you haven't yet.
Yeah, I do like theirs. They're very neat. We've seen, I mean, even Eufy is another, Under Anchor, another Chinese brand, but they have the one that like can climb steps, which is really cool, don't they? Like they preview that at IFA. Like, yeah, there's some cool stuff.
Yeah, it's still, there's every year at IFA or CES, there's like a few. Some of them are actual gimmicks. Some of them will be cool things in the future, but aren't quite there yet. What's interesting about stair climbing and robots in general, I feel like we're doing it the wrong way right now. None of us actually like our legs. Like, we're not, do your knees creak and like whatever and hurt all the time? Like they're not the best tools for actually walking and climbing. And most of our like factory floors are all flat. Like, there's no reason we should be creating humanoids with legs to walk in a factory. Like, we could use tracks, we could use wheels. They're much more efficient. Tracks happen to work extremely well on stairs. Actually, to stick with iRobot, one of the, you mentioned they sold off like their military applications, all that. One of their early military applications, which was used for like 9/11 recovery and like all sorts of things like that, was PatBot, and it had this like very cool track system that it could just track upstairs, and then you could throw it off the second floor again, and it was sturdy enough that it would climb right back up again and do it again. So I don't know that the future of floor cleaning on a second floor is with like this like step maneuver thing, or they have like this thing that pushes over and then I think it's just going to be tracks eventually, where it knows how to go up at that angle, that 45-degree angle or so.
Yeah, it's there's still so much they can do in that space, and I still think they have more to do with just like hair cleaning, like for houses that have perhaps 3 dogs and 3 cats and humans and all that stuff. Like, it adds up fast. So there's still so much that can be done in that space.
Yeah, my other two, like, please category work on this. R&D teams in China, like, please can you get on this right now? My other two things are baseboards. So right now, for some reason, a lot of these vacuums avoid the sides, like the literal walls, like the plague. Some of them are putting these like sliding things out, but they don't necessarily have like a pad here to like clean the actual baseboards. So I would love someone to clean baseboards or like the very edges of the walls. And the other thing is, I want a robot that will get rid of all the sticky fingerprints from the mirrors in the house, or the countertops, the horizontal countertops, or the tabletops. I just want to be able to stick a robot on there after every meal, and in 4 minutes, it's cleaned the surface of the countertop or the tabletop. I feel like that will be, for parents specifically, the world's best consumer tech invention.
I could see it. Doorknobs, all that stuff just needs to find some way to be cleaned up. I want on the baseboards, I want like that top edge of the baseboard, because like if this is cleaning your floor, you're not necessarily vacuuming, and then you're not like, as I would normally take my vacuum and go along that, and then it gets caked on there. So like I need something that goes like the top lip of the baseboard as well at the same time.
I saw a really good hack on Instagram recently. They clearly are targeting me appropriately. The hack is take your Dyson or your stand up vacuum cleaner, whatever you have, and if you take a dryer sheet and attach it to the end, and then put a rubber band on it so it stays firm, and then you vacuum the baseboards with that dryer sheet, it creates a static or something an anti-static on the baseboards that's like a dust repellent for the next like month or something. It lasts. And so that works really well.
Okay. Well, now I have to try that. I'm going to go try it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Okay. Do you have anything else on iRobot? Any more opinions that you want to get out that are just boiling up inside of you?
I've been all week waiting for this talk. I just needed to get it out. No, nothing else. It's just, to sum it all up, it's sad when American companies can't proceed with innovative strategies any longer. And it's even sadder or more sad. I don't know. I'm in PR, but that one has always gotten me. It's worse when we do it to ourselves. And right now with iRobot, it seems like we kind of butchered this one. This was cannibalism as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's a space that is doing so well. Like I think that there was like missteps in their market choice. I think it hurt. The Amazon acquisition thing, of course, hurt a ton. But for literally like the pioneer leading that space, like American company, and then just the acquisition, and then tariffs, and then now it's gone.
Oh well,
it's a bummer.
Yeah.
Well, let's try to end the episode on a little bit more of an upbeat note. I want to hear, let's go back and forth a little bit. Tell me some of your favorite smart home products of the year. I have a list. I want to hear what yours are as well. So give me one. You got something?
I've got a couple. Full disclosure, I test a lot of my own clients' products, so I'm going to stick with that list if you don't mind. But I don't get a lot of other people's clients, That's if I do, it's because they're then becoming my clients. So the two that I've used the most this year, one is a little bit non-traditional smart home. It's a portable projector from XGEMI, the Mogo 4 laser. It's this really cool, kind of looks like a soda can, or like, I don't know, like half of this water bottle, and you pop it out and it can go in 360 degrees, up, down, right, left. It comes with a stand. It comes with a projector screen. It comes with this little clip-on, like, how would you describe them? They make your ceiling look like a starscape or a galaxy or under the sea or things like that. They're very, very cool. And I've used it a lot. My kids love it. We bring it outside. We do movie nights, in the backyard. You can bring it to the beach. You can watch and use it indoors if you want. And it's not like, you're not going to get the best of the best of the best quality on this thing, but that's not what it's for. It's for portability. It's for, watching those, Moana 2 or whatever the latest Disney movie is right now, and doing so in a really fun and exciting way. So the XGEMI Mogo 4 laser, one of my favorite, and you can get that all bundled up. Really good, attractive price point. That's definitely one of my favorites of 2025.
Nice. I did not even see that one, but that sounds very cool. Does it do AirPlay?
My fault then. If you attach your Apple TV to it, it does. Okay. But you could. It's got Google TV built into it, so you could like Google Cast to it relatively easy. Yeah.
Nice.
And with Google TV, it means it has native Netflix, so you don't have to like sideload or anything like that.
Yeah, which is always helpful. Yeah. I have two count for one here, but I think Aqara crushed it with cameras this year. I've talked about it so many times, but the G5 Pro, amazing, as well as the G100 as like a budget one. I literally just installed 5 G100s over at my grandma's house because she wanted some like security cameras, and she uses Apple Home because everything's there. So she's got that HomeKit secure video baked in, but also stick in like a little micro SD card. You can do 512 gigs and it'll do 24/7 recording for almost like a week or something with 2K resolution. And those cameras are like $39 and they're rock solid. They turn on instantly. Like I just can't talk enough about how good the G100 and the G5 Pro is. G5 Pro is adding on like the hub capabilities. It's got the thread router in there to extend your thread network to outside. Both of these are indoor outdoor compatible. So these have just been some of the best cameras that I have tested in terms of like reliability, resolution, recording options, cost, everything. So I've been very impressed with those two cameras this year from Aqara.
Nice. Yeah, Aqara's had just a hell of a year in terms of product releases.
The S1 and adding Apple Assistant support into it, like they're the second ever company to do that. Like they've been doing stuff.
Yeah, nonstop. Talking about companies that don't let you sleep during February or breathe during February or whatever. That's one of them. All right, I'll go to another one. The robotic lawnmower category is bursting at the seams right now, and Ecovax's GOAT A3000 LiDAR. So that's one use case where LiDAR is awesome. It was the first or one of the first robot lawnmowers out there that had LiDAR on it, and it's just night and day better than the RTK versions out there. I expect, by the way, another CES trend is you'll see a lot of these lawnmowers now add LiDAR to them. So look out for that. But we finally moved back to our house after a little bit of a renovation period, and we got some new grass, and that lawnmower has been awesome. The way it cuts, it gets to the edges, it does the patterns if you want, and this is all like I don't have to do anything. I set a schedule. It knows if it's rained and isn't gonna touch the grass when it's wet. And the kids like watching it. It's super, super cool. It stays away from pets, which we don't have, but it does if it's not going to go and run over the bunny rabbit living in your backyard. It's a really cool product. And I think it's cool to see robotics working in that way.
Now, I feel like they're getting really close with lawnmowers. The last one I tested, I thought was going to be there. It was one of the Segway Navimo ones, and it worked really well. But it took too long, and there was times it would still get stuck in our pretty basic yard, and it's like it would like come out in the morning, but if it was like too dewy, then it was like slipping too much, and then so I think it would wait a little bit for like the dew to dry for it not to be wet, and then it would take too long to get done. Or if it started to rain, then it would stop, and then it would have to like start like basically the next day, and then it took 3 days to mow your lawn. So I'm like, we're getting close, but I have not tested any since. But I know they keep getting announced, so I think they're getting
better and better. Spot. Yeah. There's this one brand, I don't work with them, Yarbo, but I'm obsessed with what they're doing. They've got all
I've
these
heard so many things.
Yeah, like configurable, like different models of their.
They got a snowblower.
Yeah, they're super cool. And they've got leaf blower, like all sorts of different cool attachments to make it all modular. And I think that's just like the coolest tech. Remember, years and years and years ago, there was this company. I don't remember what they were called, but they were trying to make like a modular smartphone where you could take like the back and put like these different. I just feel like tech that allows you to curate it for the needs of your day, like whatever, or season or whatever, like specifically with lawn mowing, right? Like for me, I'm in Florida, so like I need that all the time. For you don't need lawn mowing year round. You could totally benefit from a snow blower, or I don't know, maybe it's a little mini Zamboni if you're going to put an ice rink in your backyard or something, But, like, how cool would it be if this robot tech allowed you to do all that sort of stuff like Yarbo's working on? That's one brand to watch, in my opinion.
Yeah, they seem cool. I sat in their last press briefing like a month or two ago, and, like, they had, like, a trimmer that would do, like, your edging and stuff. Like, they're getting pretty neat.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. My number 2 item on the list is the new level lock. I think that crushed it. Thread support, Matter, HomeKey. The thing is reliable. It's fast. Like it's completely hidden. Right now, that is my favorite smart lock, and I've tested a whole lot of them. There's a lot of really, really good ones that are out there. But for what we're doing, I really like this new level lock. I think they did an amazing job on it. So yeah, that's my next item on the list.
Nice. All right, I'll round it out with my third and final one. Again, a client of mine, but obsessed with this product, and it's actually not smart. it will be smart in the future. In fact, stay tuned for CES and get a little bit more details there. But their first version, Jasco in Brighton line, they came out with the Hex lights. And so I don't know if you've seen these in garages or like workout rooms or whatnot, but I put one in my shed and they're awesome. They're these like hexagonal white lights, and they just make your space like look like a man cave. And it's so cool. My wife doesn't love them, but I love them, and I'm just obsessed with making things be like personalized to me, kind of like I was just talking about with the modularization. So those are really awesome. You can clip them on, and they're really easy to install. They're super inexpensive for what you're getting, and I like the trend of like people redoing the floors in their garages and turning them into with epoxy and all that. Like this is the perfect component to add to that room once you're done the floor, is start adding really awesome lighting.
I'm gonna have to look that up. That sounds really cool. And yeah, I'll put a link in the show notes for everyone else who wants to look them up as well.
Am I doing the worst job at getting you samples throughout the year?
I've never even heard of that brand.
Oh man, I hope my client doesn't listen to this podcast now. Well, they're not Apple Home related, so maybe that's why. But either way,
maybe that's why.
We'll make sure to get you some samples.
Speaking of your categories again, I have 3 rapid fire things here at the end. Robotic vacuums, like there's been so many of them that have launched this year. I have not really tested that many. The last major one that I tested was the Roborock Saros Z70 with the robotic arm, and I think I got to give it to that one. That's probably one of the biggest differentiators that's happened in that space for a while. It definitely doesn't pick up everything, and it still struggles sometimes with like going over a lip while carrying a sock. But it is funny just like coming home sometimes, and I all of a sudden I'll look in the little collection bin, and there's like 5 things in there, and it's like, huh, it just did those, and it picked all that stuff up, and I didn't even realize that it did. So it's just kind of cool to see that. But it's also just an excellent Apple Home enabled Matter vacuum cleaner. At the same time, I hear Ecovacs also had a very cool one, but that was an EFA thing.
Yeah, we'll make sure we get that one to you as well. But so you use the arm. That's it's all right. Interesting. I haven't heard a lot of people that liked the arm, so I'm glad you like it. I'm wondering if they're going to keep that around.
I mean, I don't dislike it. Like I said, it doesn't do everything, but like it literally is. It is hilarious. Like I'm just sitting on the couch. It's vacuuming, and all of a sudden I just and I look over, and it's just like carrying a flip flop past me. I'm like, okay, it's
like my 1.5-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
If my slippers are in the other room, she'll be like, "No, these are supposed to be on your feet, Dad. Like I'm gonna bring them to you."
Yeah, like I said, it's definitely not the best, but it also does something more than nothing, and it's still an excellent vacuum cleaner on its own. So yeah, I'm excited to see how that continues to evolve. I don't know what they're gonna keep doing with that, but it's pretty neat.
Hey, I also really like the for innovation. So whatever these companies can do to keep adding cool things, I'm here for it.
I liked the SwitchBot candle warmer. I really like that. I literally now just sitting here and I'm like, just turn on the candle, and it just does it. It's just like in the corner of the room on a little desk, and then it smells nice in here. I don't have to light anything. I can go and check on children without worrying about a lit flame in here around cats. I really like that. Simple, but works really well with Matter. And
that's SwitchBot's whole they're talk about another company that killed it this year and kills it in general. That product is like quintessential SwitchBot.
Mm-hmm. We also saw Brilliant coming back from the dead and launching their next gen panels with faster processors, better, higher resolution screens. Amazing. I love it so much. It's in our living room. It's great, super responsive, works well. I love the photos on the wallpapers for it. Verbose support for a bunch of smart home tech in there. I still hope for a future version with like the Red and Matter support, but we're getting there. And that was a company that was gone and managed to come back. So yeah, putting that on the list.
Solid list. Good year for smart home.
I think so. Well, let's hope next year's even better. I called it last year. I was wrong. Next year, the year of the smart home, Apple's launching its smart home display. We're going to get that new Apple TV. We're going to get Aliro door locks. We're going to get adaptive temperature thermostats. We're going to get all of the things next year. It's going to happen. It's going to be
Cheers
a big
to that.
year for smart home.
Cheers. Cheers to 2026.
Awesome. Thank you, Dan, for hanging out again. I'll put links to the stuff we talked about in the show notes. Dan, anything you want to leave us with?
Just excited to see you in Vegas, man. Excited to give you a big, big hug.
And I'll look squeamish accepting a hug.
That's exactly why I'm excited to give you a big, big hug. There's something about CES. There's not a lot of hug people there, but yet hugs are happening. It's a funny sight to see.
Oh man, it's crazy. I know we talked about this like constantly, but like my emails will not stop. Like I recorded another podcast yesterday, and within the scope of like that 45 minutes of recording, I had like a dozen emails like, hey, we set up this meeting and lock in a time? And I'm like, all of you need to stop. Yeah. And it just keeps, there's more and more. It's so much.
My buddy, Justin Duino, who writes for Valnet, it's like How to Geek and all those publications. He sent me a screenshot of his like post or something from LinkedIn in like 2014 or something yesterday, and it's like, oh, look at my schedule at CES and 125 CES emails, so crazy. And he's like, baby Justin did not know what was yet to come. He's like, I have 125 emails a day now for CES. That's not like the full 2 months before or something.
For sure.
Pretty wild.
Well, it'll be fun. So everybody look forward to that. Do what you guys do best. Leave this a 5, 10, 100-star rating on your podcast player of choice. Watch the video version of this over at youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. Otherwise, we'll see you guys in the new year in the new episode.